Hey everybody, it's Brad with another Floriani Total Control U video for you. In this video, we're going to talk about the new Wordplay feature in Total Control U, which is something that just came out not even a month ago. It's part of the latest update, so if you haven't updated your software to the latest version, you need to go do that. And if you don't know how to do that, I actually just uploaded a video right before this one that shows you how to update your software. So once you're all updated, then we can go and start playing with this really exciting new feature. So if you've seen Design Machine Embroidery's Word Art in Stitches program, this is a feature from that called, they call it bubble text, but they're calling it Wordplay in this. So if you look up towards the center of your toolbar, you'll see that there's these new icons. You design it and Wordplay, and we're going to deal with You Design It in a separate video, but Wordplay is the one I'm really excited about, and that's the one we're gonna play with first. So you go ahead and click on this icon, and what comes up is this little menu where you can pick a shape on this side. So the default shape is an apple, just because it's the first one in the line here. And then, as you can see, we can scroll through here. We've got all these different shapes to choose from, and you can even put your own custom shapes in here, which I'm going to show you how to do also. So we go through these, and we can see that there's lots and lots of shapes in here. So we'll just do something simple. We'll do a star to start out with. It doesn't really matter. And then shape type. So the shape type, we'll get to all this, but let me show you exactly what it is that that this does. So you go over here under words. We go in and we can start typing in words. So we'll type in star twinkle, and you put a comma between words so that it knows, like if you've got a two-word phrase you want to use, you wouldn't put a comma. Twinks, no. Twinkle. Little. I guess I should capitalize that L because that's what I was doing before. I guess I don't have to stay with the Twinkle Twinkle Little Star theme. We can do bedtime, night night, etc. Okay, so you put in all the phrases that you want, and we're just going to hit generate down here because I want you to see what this does. Generating text paths, and then it generates wordplay. And there we go. So it fills your shape with the phrases, and it randomizes their placement. So we can go in and if we look on this side under the shape, we can change the size. So this is a 3-inch by 3-inch star. That's pretty tiny. We'll make them about 6 inches, and we'll regenerate it, and you'll actually see that there's going to be more phrases that fit in there. Say, look at that. Isn't that cool? I love it. I love it. I love it. So you know, if you have Word Art in Stitches and you bought that specifically because it does this, well, sorry, and I didn't know that they were going to add this to this program. But don't feel too bad because there's a bunch of other really neat stuff that program does. You know, so it's not like you got something that doesn't do anything now. Because Word Art and Stitches has some really some neat other stuff. But anyway, I am super excited that everybody now gets this. Everybody that has Total Control U is got this capability, because this is such a cool thing, I think, to be able to make, and with so little effort, you can create something like this. So anyway, let me show you how to customize this a little bit more. So we've got our phrases in there, and we can set the size. Under shape type, if we set this as artwork and we hit OK here, what we're going to have is just the words, and the outline is going to be artwork. It's not going to be stitches. Now, we could change it to whatever we want, you know, but if we save the design just on the default settings with this as artwork, when we save it, we're not going to have any border whatsoever around our design. So we can change that from artwork to run to steel. So run, obviously, is going to be a running stitch, and steel will be that satin border type stitch that a steel stitch is. So we'll set it to that. We can also view it in 3D if we like, see what it's going to look like, a little more realistic. But you know, it doesn't really, it's not that realistic. So I don't know. I don't really turn the 3D view on when I'm doing this. Units, settings, metric, or imperial. I think most of the people watching are in imperial, but if you're in one of the more civilized parts of the world and you do everything in metric, you can go ahead and hit that, and then set your width and height in metric. So that's this side of the screen. On this side, we can choose the font that we're going to use. So it'll show you a preview when you hover your mouse over one of these fonts, and I can just change the font that I want. And here, I'll hit generate and let you see the difference here. And as you see, first it generates the paths that the text is going to be on, and then it actually puts them in, and there we go. So now we've got a different look with a different font. As you can see, it randomizes the colors and randomizes the placement of our designs, and any lettering that gets too small, because it randomizes the size of it too. If anything that's too small, it puts in this running stitch font so that you'll actually be able to read it. So that's cool. So we can set the maximum colors, but we can't set the colors until we actually have the design. Then we can go and change the colors around. But so if we only want to have a max of 6 colors, we can set that in here. And max paths, the max is 200 by default. So no matter what we set in here, there's never going to be more than 200 phrases inside this star. And we can change that value as well. So really the only time you'd need to do that is if you were doing a really, really big shape with really, really small letters. You'd want to change that. Okay, so here we can set the height. And so the height is the baseline height. So the baseline height for this design is 0.79. And then the scale percent is the 0.79 inches. That is the maximum height, because we have set the max is 100% of this value. Okay, so the maximum height we're going to get is this, the base height, and the minimum height is 10% of this. Okay, so we can change that so that our minimum height is larger. That way we don't get things that are really, really tiny. So you can change these values. Or if we want to have some that are even bigger than this, we can do that. So if we go in here and we set this to, say, 0.5, we set this to, say, 50%. So the smallest I'm going to have is a 1/4 inch. And then the max I'll set to 1.5. We'll see what this looks like. So the smallest my words are going to be is a 1/4 of an inch. The tallest is whatever that times that is. I don't know. I'm not good at math. I hit generate, and oh, somehow this ended up being, wow, what happened here? Somehow this ended up changing this to 1.5. That's not what it's supposed to be. This was supposed to be 50, and this was supposed to be 150. What happened? Generate. Okay, I'm not sure what I managed to do there to mess that up. I must have hit a button or something. I don't know. But anyway, as you see, this is what I was trying to do. So now we don't have anything that's really, really, really tiny. You see how there's no running stitch letters. So if you don't want those, you're going to have to increase the minimum scaling for your design. But anyway, isn't this cool? It's so awesome. And if you don't like what it puts up there, then you can hit generate as many times as you want, and it randomizes it every time. And then we can also control the angle. So if we have it on any, then it'll do this kind of like crazy, all these different rotations. But if we don't want that, say we want it to be all horizontal, we'll hit generate, and I'll show you what that would look like. So it fills it just like this, which that looks kind of boring. It might be good for a shape that's not like a star, something like a squarish shape. That might be good. We can also check multiple options on this side, though. So if we do horizontal and vertical, what you'll see is it'll fill it in going both like at 90-degree angles. Okay, so you've got some going vertically, some going horizontally, and that can be good too. And then if we choose diagonal, I don't think diagonal is going to work very good with both horizontal and vertical selected, but let's see what happens. Yeah, it's kind of like any, except we get more of the straight 90-degree angles. Here, put this in 3D, be able to see it a little better. See, we actually have a couple of these in here. So that is it's just so cool. I love it. So we can go and choose different shapes in here. Say we want a Christmas tree. And when you change your shape, though, it does change this back to the default words. So you would have to go and put your words back in. But it remembers your font and the size and the scale and the angle. It remembers all of that stuff. So, we now would need words that go with a Christmas tree. So Christmas happy, blah, blah, blah. You know, you get the idea. And you hit generate, and it's going to automatically fill this shape up with those phrases again. I love it. So that's neat and all, but you only have these like 100 or so shape, maybe not even 100 shapes. It's kind of limited because you don't have a million different shapes. But it's very easy to add your own shapes into this. Anything that you can draw or trace or bring in from a TrueType font or something like that, you can use as one of the shapes. It's not immediately apparent how you do that, but I am going to show you. So here's how you do it. I'm just going to hit cancel here, and I want to bring in something that I can use as a new shape. So let's see, what do we want? Let's say I have an image of something that I want to trace and have as the new shape. So I'm going to go ahead and bring up a backdrop. I got to tell it where to look in digitizing images, and I want to use Batman. I want to use the Batman logo. All right. So I've got this design, and I can trace it either by tracing it manually, or this is a clean enough artwork that I can just use the magic wand tool here. We'll click here. All right. I'm going to go ahead and hide my backdrop, click on my backdrop tool, right click, and get rid of the backdrop. So now we've got this shape that I want to save and use it in that Wordplay feature. So the way that you do it is you go up to Tools, you select it, you go up to Tools, and then you go to Save Custom Shape. Oh wait, look, it has Save Wordplay Shape. It actually has an option for it. I didn't even notice this. I was doing it the hard way before. But we can actually save this as Wordplay Shape right here. So we'll click Save Wordplay Shape. It'll save it in the library for Wordplay. I'm going to call it Batman. And hit Save. And then I'll just go ahead and delete it. We'll go back to Wordplay. Click on that. And we should see in here Batman. There it is. So that's awesome. I can go in and put in all the different words about Batman that I want, set my size, and it'll automatically fill it in with the phrases. Just remember that you have to put the comma next to the words, and you'll be good to go. But it reminds you of that because by default it has word comma play in there, so you see the comma. It's like, oh right, I have to put the comma in. So this feature is so great. I'm way stoked to have this as a thing that I can point to and be like, hey, this is a thing this program does. So I hope everybody has fun with this. It's really nifty. If you want to see more about it, I don't really know what else I could talk about this, though. It's fairly straightforward. It does what it does. What it does is awesome. But that's what it does. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you in the next one. Thanks for watching.